Epikos Church. Hey, I'm super excited to talk to you today. We're down here at the Oregon coast, and it's a little bit cloudy right now, but it's still beautiful and it's nice and cool. I've been thinking a lot about the kingdom of God. Obviously, we've been talking about that the last few weeks, and today I want to bring an idea to you. We live in a culture where everybody believes that they're an expert on just about everything. All you need to do is watch a couple of YouTube videos and maybe read a blog or two, and you're an instant expert. Next thing you know, you've got your own YouTube channel and you're making money on the internet at something really that you don't have a lot of experience in. And that's cool. That's the culture we live in. But Jesus actually had a different way, and his kingdom way was to know God and to know the power of the Spirit. And so what I want to read to you a story out of Mark chapter 1. And it says that Jesus and his companions, they went to the town of Capernaum. And Sabbath day came. I'm in Mark chapter 1, verse 22. When Sabbath day came, he went into the synagogue and he began to teach. The people were amazed at his teaching, for he taught with real authority. What is real authority? It's not just, I watched a couple videos, I read a couple blogs. Jesus actually knew the Father. It says that Jesus taught with real authority, quite unlike the teachers of religious law. Suddenly, a man in the synagogue who was possessed by an evil spirit began shouting, "Why are you interfering with us, Jesus of Nazareth? Have you come to destroy us? I know who you are, the Holy One of God." Jesus cut him short. "Be quiet and come out of him," he ordered. At that, the evil spirit screamed, threw the man into a convulsion, and then came out of him. Listen to this. The people were amazed and gripped, and they began to discuss what had happened. "What sort of new teaching is this?" they asked excitedly. "It is such authority. Even evil spirits obey his orders." And then news about Jesus spread quickly throughout the entire region of Galilee. Matthew says this in his depiction of the story. He says that Jesus said to the Pharisees and to the teachers of religious law, "If I cast out demons by the finger of God, then you know that the kingdom of God has come to you." What is he teaching us? What is he trying to say? He's trying to say that the kingdom of God is more than just fancy talk. As a matter of fact, that's what Paul says. He says the kingdom of God is not just a bunch of fancy talk, but it's a demonstration of God's power. And so for us, I think the world is full of fancy talk. Talk is cheap, but real power comes at a cost. And I think what the Bible's trying to teach us is that there is a cost to the kingdom of God. Jesus said, if you want to be part of the kingdom, you got to sell everything and come and follow me. Jesus said, you can't have the blessings or the authority or the benefits of the kingdom if you don't sell everything you have and buy the field. But even more so, he says that the kingdom of God is not just about what we say, but it's about what we do and how we live. It's a demonstration of God's power. Paul said it this way in 1 Corinthians chapter 1. He says, "Listen, I didn't come to you with eloquent preaching of man's wisdom, but I came to you with a demonstration of God's power." And so for us as New Testament believers, for us as followers of Jesus, we want to not just say and talk about the kingdom, but we want to demonstrate the kingdom. So my question is this: how do our lives demonstrate the kingdom of God? I think it's a life that's lived in the character of God, but I think it's more than that. I think it's also a life that's lived in the power of God. It says this in Mark chapter 16 and verse 20. It says, "These signs will follow those that believe." In other words, if we truly believe that the kingdom of God is among us, then there should be signs that follow us. Jesus, when he commissioned the 70 to go out and preach the gospel in Luke chapter 10, he sends them out and he says, "Listen, heal the sick, cleanse the lepers, okay, open the eyes of the blind, preach the gospel." And so I think for us, we need to learn how to preach the gospel. We need to live the gospel, but we also need to step out in boldness and say, "God, if your kingdom is here, if your kingdom is alive and active, then there should be a tangible evidence of that kingdom living among us. And I think the biggest tangible evidence is a transformed life. If we continue to live in the same sin that we were in before Christ, we live in that after Christ, I don't think that's evidence of the kingdom. Because the kingdom evidence is the power of God living in us and through us. And first of all, it's the power to transform us, to become like Jesus. Secondly, it's the power of Jesus working through us to bring other people into relationship with God. But thirdly, I think it's the power of God working through us to see people actually restored, both in their relationship with God and in whether it's healing of their sick bodies, healing of a broken marriage, being set free from an addiction, or any power of the enemy. Jesus said this. He said, I'm giving you authority to trample on snakes and scorpions, and I'm giving you power over all the authority of the enemy. Wow, that's different than just preaching a good message. That's living a powerful gospel. And I believe that that's what the kingdom's all about, is living the power of the gospel every day in every facet of our lives. The way that we talk, the way that we love, the way that we serve, and also the way that we bring other people into this kingdom relationship with Jesus. I put together some questions and some thoughts, some scriptures that I want you to read together as a group, and then I want you to discuss what does it mean for the kingdom of God to be active and alive among us. And I think it's more than just the words that we say. It's a demonstration that God is actively living among us, working through us. Have a great discussion, and I'll see you next time.